Most of the people I know drink or smoke, and it's something that's really common.
Most high school students see alcohol as just a way to have a good time.
Alcohol is so accessible these days.
If you don't do it, it's not weird, but it's rare.
I think the first time kids try drinking is probably around 16.
Possibly 50% of students younger than the age of 18 have tried alcohol at some point.
We see liquor as something that we can't have, so we do it.
I don't drink at all, and a lot of times I go to parties and there's people drinking.
I think to say that nobody should drink alcohol at all is just, it's not logical.
When everybody else is doing it, and if you aren't, you kind of feel left out and you kind of feel out of the loop.
You can have fun without drinking.
Alcohol is not only illegal when you're under 21, but I think that it can lead you to do things that you would normally do when you're sober.
Drinking totally lowers your inhibitions.
Yeah, and you can get drunk and have sex, and if you're a girl, you can get pregnant.
Alcohol use is one of the most common reasons for unintended pregnancy.
Drinking in excessive amounts is not thinking of your future, and having an unplanned pregnancy is not thinking of your future.
A friend of mine went to a party and she had never drunk alcohol before. Apparently she had gone into this room with a boy and he was like, "Oh, well, you'll feel better if you lay down. I'll take you." So she went in there and he just did whatever he wanted with her.
People many times forget what they had decided was important about what they were going to do that night, and oftentimes you'll find that you end up with an unintended pregnancy.
This whole week we're having a health week. It started off with the health fair.
There are certain things that everybody should know. How alcohol influences little babies. Babies that are not even born, they're still in the mother's uterus.
Fetal alcohol syndrome, or FAS, is a term that applies to a set of abnormalities in a child that is the result of being exposed to alcohol during development in the mom's uterus.
That can be caused by a woman who drinks heavily throughout her pregnancy, but may also be caused by a woman who drinks sporadically.
A mother who's carrying a child, basically what you eat, that baby eats. What you drink, that baby drinks.
If the mother drinks, it goes into that closed amniotic sac and things circulate in there. And that little baby swallows the amniotic fluid and it excretes it, urinates it, and it gets concentrated in there.
People used to tell me, "Oh, you can have a wine cooler." I never did it, because I was scared. I would go, "Okay, no, never mind," because I don't trust. But I know people that did it, and their baby came out with a little, they learn slower than other children.
They're sacrificing, a drink for a child that could be like the next doctor, president.
If people are smokers, they usually start when they are early teens. And we also know from research that it takes a lot less exposure to cigarettes when you're a young person to become addicted than when you become older.
People say smoking's going down, but it doesn't seem that way. In my personal point of view, I think it's actually staying the same.
Do you guys know the bad effects of smoking?
Your teeth get all yellow and brown.
Yeah.
How about to your lungs? What happens?
Why don't we take a look about how the lungs look? They look horrible. Oh my God. So, like she said, don't smoke. It's not necessary.
Drinking and smoking lowers sperm count.
Half of the genetic material that led to the development of this little embryo and fetus came from the father. And if he has exposure to things such as illicit drugs, smoking, alcohol, it can affect his fertility in the future, and it can affect the health of the developing baby.
This can be very bad for a male who plans to have a future with a family.
Do you guys know the effects of smoking on babies?
The effects of smoking in pregnancy are actually very similar to the effects of cocaine and methamphetamine. Babies whose mothers smoke heavily, their babies tend to be smaller, lighter at birth, tend to be shorter, their head sizes tend to be smaller, and that's something that can persist as the child grows.
Also, when a mother is around secondhand smoke, whatever smoke she inhales, the baby also takes in.
Secondhand smoke is as harmful to babies and young children as smoking the cigarette yourself.
The cigarette not only has carbon monoxide, 3,000 chemicals, but issues like nicotine, which causes a vasoconstriction of vessels. So it prevents this little developing baby from getting what it needs.
Drugs are so hard to get away from because they're everywhere.
Marijuana.
Smoking weed.
Weed.
Marijuana.
Weed.
Marijuana.
Cocaine.
Marijuana.
Pot.
Smoking pot.
Cocaine.
Cocaine. Hallucinogens.
Heroin.
Weed.
Cocaine.
Marijuana, crack cocaine, heroin, methamphetamines, ecstasy.
Drugs, they can lead you to a place where you don't want to be, for example, prison.
An illicit drug is just a drug that is illegal.
After I started partying, my grades went down because I wasn't doing my homework, I wasn't paying attention in class.
In my region, there's mainly marijuana use.
If you're not accepted by a certain clique or something like that and you have money, you can go buy drugs and be accepted by that clique.
Know the facts because it's really life-changing, all right? Now let's go check back at the health fair.
It's not good to be partying and hanging out. Always your education first.
Some people maybe want to do it just to try. Oh, just try it, but then you may get addicted.
It's unusual to find people that only take illicit drugs. Many times they use alcohol and tobacco as well.
If I drink, am I going to be healthy? If I smoke, am I going to play basketball better? You need to think about those things.
If you're high, you're not going to concentrate. Your mind is not working 100%.
Some people use it to kind of take themselves out of themselves.
It's a stress reliever for some people.
We also have an issue that's very tragic with mental health concerns, suicide ideation in young people that often is confounded and people self-medicate to try to feel better.
What you don't realize is that it's slowly taking its toll on your body and it's pushing you farther and farther down in that depression, and therefore you're making more and more choices that you really don't want to make.
At my old school, 2 of my friends got kicked out for having marijuana. Even though some people say, oh yeah, it relieves my stress, those things aren't gonna take your stress away.
Do you guys know the effects that drugs have on birth?
Premature birth.
The use of any drug will increase the likelihood of a baby being born early and the baby being born very sick.
The placenta prevents like other things from going in, but the drugs still go in.
In the early stages of pregnancy, when the mother isn't really sure that she's pregnant yet and she has no idea, so she still might be drinking or doing drugs.
Most pregnancies are not planned, and that is one of the biggest risk factors for babies being born early, babies being born sick, babies having complications, and mothers having complications.
The babies may come out and have problems with cognition or mental capacity or motor coordination.
Staying away from drugs or alcohol now would help you stay away from them in the future, which means you could make healthy choices and have the baby more likely when you want to, and it'll be healthy.
Things that can hurt your health can hurt your baby's health.
You have to motivate yourself. You can't depend on somebody to motivate you.
Sometimes people, you don't expect it, but people look highly upon you if you don't do the drugs.
If they really like you for who you are, they wouldn't be mad for making a right and good decision.
I think when people take drugs, they just want to feel good just for a moment.
You have to think not at what's going to happen at the moment. You have to think long terms, like what's going to happen after.
Good luck, everybody. Okay. You're welcome.
It's just about taking care of yourself and like being responsible for yourself. Exactly.
You gotta eat some good food. And we gotta give out folic acid.
Bye.